Let's see what we got here. Oh, here she is.
We're
She's on
live.
Jasper. She's Jasper today.
Jasper, yeah. I can change that. Okay, we're on recording and we're on YouTube now.
All right, and I will call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Canos,
Here.
Mr. Ambelang,
Here.
Ms. Greenfield,
Here.
Ms. McCready. Oh, I have to make her a co-host. Sorry, Ms. McCready.
Here, thank you.
Mr. McQueen is absent. Mr. Romero,
Here.
Ms. Romero.
Here.
All right, notice of this meeting was provided to the Bernardsville News and Courier News, filed with the municipal clerk and posted on the municipal bulletin board on December 15th, 2022, and supplemented on November 30th, 2023, to change the start time to 2 p.m. and indicate the meeting is remote only via Zoom. Pledge of Allegiance. Wait a minute, I got a flag. Here we go. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Do we have audience? I see Lenny. Lenny's here. All right, I'll read this whole thing then. Welcome to the December 26, 2023 meeting of the Bernardsville Borough Council. This meeting is being conducted on Zoom only and is being broadcast live on YouTube. Members of the public attending remotely on Zoom will be given the opportunity to comment at the appropriate time during the meeting in accordance with the following guidelines. Members of the public will be allowed to speak during the open session on the agenda. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per speaker, which will be monitored and enforced by the borough clerk. Comments containing offensive, profane, or indecent language or language constituting hate speech will not be permitted. Remote participants will be muted unless they are unmuted by the clerk, and remote participants will not be able to unmute themselves. The clerk will mute remote speakers at the expiration of their 3 minutes of allotted time, or if they make any inappropriate or offensive comments. All speakers shall state their names and addresses before making their comments. Speakers on Zoom shall activate their cameras so that they can be seen by members of the governing body and other members of the audience. We do not have any presentations. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of October 10th, 23rd, and November 13th?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from October 10th, October 23rd, and November 13th.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right. So we now have an open session for items not listed for a public hearing. Would anyone like to be heard at this time?
We have Kathleen Williams.
Oh, she has her hand up. Okay.
I'm all good to unmute. The time.
There, she unmuted? Yeah.
Hi, yes, this is Kathleen Williams, 90 Round Top Road. Three questions. Who is responsible for confirming any roads or drainage work with respect to the Round Top Road improvements of 2014 have been built to the engineer specs and the designs?
I would assume that's our engineer.
I
So
agree.
the borough engineer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I have replied to letters and they've gone unanswered. Are they going to be answered? You've sent me letters, I've replied to letters, and I've not heard back.
Jack, any comments? I mean, I don't know where we are on.
I'm not sure where we are. I think we've responded to everything. There's no real additional information to add as far as I know.
Okay.
And we're in the process right now of changing engineers.
Right.
So our new engineer will be on board this week, I believe. No, February.
January 2nd.
Oh, January 2nd. Okay. So there'll be some time lag in transferring information.
Does that mean there's going to be a different assessment? Because the last letter I received from Mr. Pigeon said you're doing nothing.
Possible.
Possible that he may change the
Well, it's
perspective?
possible his review will be different, but I wouldn't anticipate that.
Okay. The last question I have is who is stating from the council and telling the employees that I am filing a lawsuit? I have made public statements that I'm not. I've put in writing that I'm not, but it's still being stated and told outside people to outside agencies. So I'd like to know who is making those false claims.
Well, you are filing complaints with various state agencies, as I understand it.
But I have not filed a lawsuit.
Well, still the equivalent of litigation if you're going to state agencies and looking for relief.
I've not gone to state agencies looking for relief. I've gone to state agencies indicating that there are violations in existence. Like any whistleblower citizen's allowed to do. You can't say that I'm filing a lawsuit. And not allowing anyone in the town to speak with me. That's different. So you're saying because I've called an outside agency, no one in the borough is allowed to speak to me?
You're not just some random citizen calling the hotline about some other property. You're complaining about your own property.
So that means no one from the town's allowed to speak with me?
I think it's more in the sense of we don't want misinformation. So that's why we've been making sure everything goes through Mr. Pigeon, because different employees may have different answers or not understand what you're asking, and we don't want any misinformation given out.
Okay, so we're clear. If I hear another borough employee stating that I am filing a lawsuit, then I will against them for slander or, misrepresenting who I am, because that's thoroughly inappropriate. And I have employees telling outside people, telling other citizens, alleging I'm filing a lawsuit, which is not true. So that's behavior unbecoming of a borough employee. Lying about a citizen, correct?
I think it's called a bad grapevine, but yes, we
No,
will instruct our
there is
employees.
in the employee handbook, they are not allowed to lie
Right.
about citizens. So,
Sure.
okay.
We will instruct them not to do that. I think that's a reasonable request.
I mean, because I have not filed lawsuit. I'm attempting to work with the town, and I have people slandering me publicly and for public other citizens and outside. That's thoroughly inappropriate behavior.
Right, we will talk to our employees, tell them that we're,
That is
not
not
to
the
do that.
case, that I'm not filing lawsuit.
Okay,
You're just trying to single point of contact because of your concerns for the situation.
mhm.
Okay.
All right, thank you. We will take care of that. Do we have anybody else? I don't see any other, no?
I don't see anybody.
All right, then I will close the public hearing, the open session. We do have a public hearing on an ordinance. So I will open the public hearing on ordinance 2023-1988 concerning sewer connection fees and sewer user rates and allocation and amending chapter 16 of the Borough Code entitled Sewer Regulations. Would anyone want to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Diane, why don't you move that?
I move to pass ordinance 2023-1988 on final reading and adopt as published.
Second.
Roll call, please.
I think Chad's is coming in right here.
Hey, Senator McCubbin is like, yes.
Mr. Ambeline,
Yes.
Ms. Greenfield,
Yes.
Ms. McCready,
Yes.
Mr. McQueen,
Yes.
Mr. Romero,
Yes.
Ms. Zamara.
Yes.
Moving on to resolutions, we have just 4 of them. I don't think any of them need discuss, oh, maybe, well, 259, do we need to talk about it, Jack?
It's up to you all. We talked about it at the last meeting, so.
So we're okay with this. All right. So somebody like to move the 4 resolutions?
Yeah, I have one, I have one piece of discussion for him. Just, I know we talked about this in closed session as it was part of litigation, and this is going to be our solution to it, resolution to it today. I believe, and this is in reference to the Oprah request. I just want to state my opinion that I feel like we have an opportunity. While I don't think that anything was not included, or there's really no information that I think on the redevelopment that was brought forward in the information that wasn't sent forth through the Oprah request. I just hope in the future that we're better at being transparent and making sure that we get that stuff taken care of, both from a fiscal perspective and also just from an openness perspective. I think that's an aspiration that we should have for the borough. So that's my comment.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'll move that resolutions 23-257 through 23-260 be adopted.
I'll
Second.
second.
A roll call, please.
Ms. Zamara,
Yes.
Mr. Romero,
Yes.
Mr. McQueen,
Yes.
Ms. McCready,
Yes.
Ms. Greenfield,
Yes.
Mr. Ambeline.
Yes.
Mayor's report, very short. On the 12th, I attended the Somerset County Planning Partners meeting. The presentation was on the State Development and Redevelopment Plan update. So you'll probably hear more about that coming up. We also had the Hanukkah lighting at the shopping center. The Somerset County governing officials met on December 13th, and we elected new officers for 2024. On the 15th, we had the borough lunch. Thank you, Nancy, for pulling that together, and Anthony. I think everybody was very grateful and appreciated it. It was really nice for everyone to get to know each other with so many new employees. I think they were very appreciative. On the 16th, we did Wreaths Across America at St. Bernard's Cemetery. We had the scouts and the veterans and actually probably about 30 volunteers. So all in all, it was very successful. We sold 120 wreaths that we placed. The Personnel Committee met on the 20th to interview the employment attorneys. So we'll be making a recommendation on that. And I also want to make a special thank you to Diane for serving on the council for these past 2 years. And actually before that for other times. And we're very grateful for your time and effort. And I think you've done more committee work than anybody, and for your efforts on the Trails Committee. It's been a pleasure. So thank you, and you will be missed. And that's it for me. I don't know if you have anything, Nancy.
No, I don't. Just want to wish everybody a early Happy New Year.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to accept the monthly reports?
Move to accept the monthly reports.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. I don't know how many people had committee meetings. Did we have public safety?
No.
Finance?
No, I reported on at the last meeting because it was on December 8th, and I'll just say that the next meeting is on January 12th. just FYI.
Okay. Personnel, like I said, we interviewed our two, the two candidates that the council had recommended. So we're recommending, DeFrancesco's firm, I believe, I forgot his name, Frown? What was?
Flam, Rich Flam.
Flam, Rich Flam. They were both very good, but I think we felt he had more experience and, a wider range of skills. So we'll be doing that at the reorg meeting. Public Works,
We didn't meet.
meet? Okay. Land use didn't meet this month. Any other liaison reports?
Yeah, the planning board met. We approved the first piece of the affordable housing, which was the Bernards Ave project.
That's right. Anyone else? Yeah, December's a quiet month for meetings. We do have a request from the Somerset Hills Lacrosse to put signs up. The ordinance says 2 weeks max. I think they're looking for 2 months, which seemed like a lot, but
What is the sign for?
it's for them for
Enrollment?
registration.
If they register for 2 months?
I know, seemed like a long time.
Open. They used to open registration in December for March start or April start, early April.
Is that when they start? Yeah, in April.
Yeah. Usually sometimes even the end of March, it depends. But
Is having this sign for 2 months to displace some other group from having a sign for 2 weeks? That would be my only concern.
No, that's a good point. Did they specifically say where they wanted the signs? They just said around town. I don't know what that means.
I think it was on the application. Let me double check that.
I'm concerned about the in the center. The triangle. That's would be the only thing that would probably be an issue.
It says Olcott, 141 Sini, Finley Ave and 202, Burnsville Library. Kiwanis.
Does anybody know this girl? I mean, if they're having problems with getting people to register, maybe it makes sense. I just would worry that if we're going to do it for them, then we probably need to we could have similar requests from all the other sports teams in 2 months. They just mean we see constant signs.
Can we say something like 2 weeks is standard? And if another group comes in and we feel that they need the space after their 2 weeks, like in the subsequent 6 weeks, that they would take a priority? It may be too complicated, but you know what I'm getting at? Like, in other words,
Yeah.
if no one's using the space, why not give it to them? But at the same time, I take your point that, you don't want it to become like a sign bonanza. So if somebody else comes in and needs this space, we may have to revisit it with them. But if that's too complicated, I get it.
I don't think it's that complicated. If we just tell them, they can do the 2 weeks or longer until we get another request.
Yeah. Up to 2 months.
Yeah.
It depends on the location too. I mean, if it's somewhere that's going to be the only sign in the area, then it really doesn't matter. But if it's in the middle of town on
Yeah.
the triangle, then that's an issue.
Well, I think it was
The only
Kiwanis
one,
Field.
Olcott and the library. Everything else is a field, like a
Yeah,
playing field.
Everything else,
no.
playing fields wouldn't matter. I don't.
Didn't they have Finley and
Oh yeah, Finley Ave and
Finley and
202.
202? Yeah, that corner gets piled up.
Why don't you make the exception would be for
Olcott.
Olcott? That's
And where at the library would they put it?
Probably right at the entrance.
Oh, yeah. So on
that's not going to interfere with traffic.
Anderson.
No, but the library puts their own signs there.
Yeah, they do.
I think there's one out there now for.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with them leaving them at Kiwanis or Veterans Park. Or or Sini, which is the polo grounds, I guess they mean.
So
But
can we
all
say
that-
that they could have them for 2 months there and the other locations 2 weeks?
Yeah,
Or
I mean, that would work. Anybody else?
I'm fine.
That's good.
Or we could say 2 weeks and then revisit. I mean, I feel like we're micromanaging here, but revisit it in 2 weeks. If there's, or I don't know. Like if it's gonna be the winter market sign request coming up.
Yeah,
I think it's
um,
easier to just make a decision and to have
Yeah.
to keep revisiting it.
Yeah, I know, but
so then why don't we just go with the, I mean, I don't think the playing grounds are like the fields are a problem. So let them do the fields for 2 months and the rest of the locations, it's,
2 weeks.
yeah.
Yeah,
Chad,
that sounds
thoughts on
good.
this? I know you're really involved with the sports team, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think they can put probably if they do it 2 weeks, like now, and then they do it again 2 weeks in another 6 weeks or so,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah,
there's nothing that's stopping them from doing that either as like
No,
a
that's- yeah.
reminder.
That's true.
Yeah, rather than a continuous 2 months. By then, and people don't see them anymore when they're up
Yeah.
that long.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
don't look at
Just
them.
ignore them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they could come back in a month and put them up again for 2 weeks.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
same.
But at the fields, we don't care. They can leave them there. Is that okay?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anthony, you got that?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Good. All right. What do we got now? Do we have any correspondence? We don't, I don't think. Any unfinished business?
I don't know if it's unfinished, but I am interested in pursuing more conversations around the automatic license plate readers that we talked about at the December 11th meeting. It was 2 days later that another incident occurred on December 13th. I don't think we have to dwell on it because there's probably information we still need to gather. I don't know, Nancy, if I should connect with you offline. Maybe it's a conversation we have to have with surrounding townships to see if they would share the cost with us as the chief recommended, and then maybe we bring a recommendation back to finance and public safety or council. How would you recommend we maybe explore that?
I think maybe you, the chief and I should have a talk next week
Okay.
and figure out what the best way approach is, and then maybe bring it to the public safety committee.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure we're moving diligently on it to try to stave off any further incidents. But thank you. That sounds good.
Yeah, that was more unfinished business. Yeah. Okay. Any new business? Nope. All right. Final open session for items not listed for a public hearing. Anyone like to be heard? Seeing none, I will close the public session, and would someone like to move to adjourn to executive?
I'll move to adjourn to executive.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Opposed? Okay.
Okay, I'll stop the recordings and move some boxes around.
We're not coming back out.